So let's go ahead and jump into Google Arts and Culture here. I do want to point out this is art, is of course a big part of the site. It's in the title. So be very careful when you go into and navigate to Google Arts and Culture. It's always best to not share your screen with your students until you have gone to the specific place that you are looking for. So this front page of Google Arts and Culture is always changing, but it's always showcasing many of the different types of resources they have. So we're going to have art on here, we're going to have videos, experiments, virtual field trips, all sorts of things. It can be very overwhelming in trying to figure out where to start. So what I recommend is if you come up to the top left-hand corner and those three little lines, there's a little hamburger menu. I always recommend starting with themes. Themes are a collection of materials around a specific concept. So this helps narrow things down for you. All of these themes, a wide variety that you can take a look at and cover a wide variety of content areas. The first one I'm going to point out to you, though, is actually one that was developed specifically for teachers, parents, and guardians, and this is Learn with Google Arts and Culture. This is linked on our slide deck for you. And this just kind of gives you some tips for using it. It gives you the ability to search by content. So maybe I want to look for things for music. I can search on music, and it's going to give me some specific pieces from Google Arts and Culture that I might want to use with my students and a variety of music concepts. So we have a 360 video, for example, here, a biography piece on Miles Davis. I have downloadable music lesson plans that I could use. Speaking of lesson plans, if I scroll down a little bit more, I'm back into that Learning with Google theme. You'll see I have some downloadable lesson plans here. Again, a wide variety of concepts. I have Space Shuttle, Big Bang. I've got heritage. I've got sports down here. So these is a good place to start for you. If you kind of want to just see more and not really get specifically into that education piece just yet, but kind of see some other options, you can see, again, tons of different themes. So one of my favorites to really showcase all of the different things that you can access in Google Arts and Culture is down here a little ways, and it is all about Apollo 11. So it's this giant leap for mankind. This was developed for the 50th anniversary a few years ago. Now, I do want to point out that it's always a good idea to favorite the things that you like when you're in Google Arts and Culture, because it can be sometimes difficult to find them again. So whenever you come in, any of their items are going to have this little heart. It doesn't matter if it's a theme, a specific portrait, a specific video. You can click that little heart and it's going to save it for you in your favorites in that upper right-hand corner of Google Arts and Culture. But this particular theme has a lot of different types of resources. You can see there's actually a little video playing up here for me at the top. We have the actual video from that one small step with the audio here that our students can watch. So talk about a primary resource that's going to be really engaging for them. We again just have some more stories or articles about why this was important. And then it even breaks this down. So again, we have stories here. We have test flights. The first site breaks things down by a timeline. Really then even gets into life in orbit. So the spacesuits, for example, would be an example of a story. This is something you'll find throughout Google Arts and Culture. It's essentially a slide deck. So it's going to have images along with text. Sometimes there'll be virtual field trips kind of built in here with that street view that you can manipulate through. This one does not. This one happens to be rather short. But again, just an example. All of these things can be shared. So wherever you see that little share icon, you can grab a link and direct your students specifically to that one artifact if you wish. So here's all sorts of pictures you can do, different challenges. So what I love about themes is, yes, they're all about one concept. Could you share the entire theme with your students? Of course you could, but you could also just pick and choose individual items that you wanted to push out for them. So just something to keep in mind. So themes is a great place to start. And again, that's going to be under that hamburger menu. You can, of course, always do a general search if you have an idea of something specific that you are looking for. But Google Arts and Culture, phenomenal resource with amazing artifacts that you can push out to your students that really brings that real world into your classroom and helps you make that connection to engage your students.